what we've done on Sewing Street, we've taken 5 of the quilts from your book and made them into kits that we're going to sell. So those are the ones I thought I'd ask you about. So the first one is flower boxes. So I really like, you use the checkmate fabric for the sashing strips.
Yeah.
You're trying to remember what it is? No. So it's...
Oh, is it very dark?
Yeah, so it's like a shadow box quilt. So you've got large squares, but you've used your checkmate fabric for the sashing strips, which works really, really well. Yeah. And I just wondered about that. Was that difficult to choose?
First of all, that what's interesting about that fabric, checkmate, is Brandon designed that, and I watched him designing it, and I thought, that's too complicated. For you know, it's what you want with a good plaid is something good and structural and plain. Well, it turns out when it was printed, it was fabulous.
It worked really well against the flowers. And I thought to start with that it was pieced, but then when I looked closer, I could see it was the fabric. But it worked really well.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad you picked that one out. Yeah, good. So what's next?
Okay, dusky ribbons.
Oh yeah.
So
that's one of my favorites.
Oh, is it? I think that's gorgeous.
I just did a little sketch in a notebook, and Liza, who works with us in America, she went through my notebook and she said, this is a great idea for a quilt. I'm going to make this quilt.
Oh, okay.
And she sat down and she worked it out how to piece those zigzaggy ribbons.
It's just gorgeous. I mean, because you said that
I'm glad you like it. I think
I love that one.
Really powerful.
Really, because you said that you used it because the beach huts gave the contrast to it. And I think it's great. The next one was Lorna Doone. So you chose the pastel duck egg and pink tones for that. Why is it?
We kept that almost exactly the way it was.
You?
When it was first done, it was done by
Corian Kramer.
Pauline. And she's wonderful. And she is, she had a real sensitivity about the way she put that together. And when we first shot it, it was on an old vintage bed in a kind of very grand house. But I picked it because we could just take it exactly as it was and just almost do exactly the same fabrics. And I loved it.
Because I like, again, maybe it's the sashing. You've used the duck egg, the blue spot for the sashing.
It's so soft and
delicate. It really works well. But
I agree.
Also, the quilting pattern that's used sort of echoes those spots. So is that all down to the person who's quilted it, or do you get any say at all in how they're quilted?
We work with a quilter and we say, this is the kind of mood we want. What we don't want is for you to do something that's so fancy that it interrupts the aesthetic we're trying to do. And then after that, we just turn it over to the quilter.
Okay, and then they let them do it.
Okay, you know what we want.
Because they've picked up that spot, but it works so well in that quilt. I really like that one.
Good, I'm glad you like that.
The next one is little jars.
Yeah.
See, I love little jars.
Yeah.
So you did that because you said it had been overlooked in a way.
Yeah.
But you collect Oriental vases.
Well, exactly. I was going to say.
So, when did you start that collection? When did you start that, and how many have you got?
Oh, my thousands. I mean, shelves and shelves of stuff, you know. I mean, because I used to do a lot of still life painting.
Well, one of my questions was, do you still do still life painting?
Yeah, I do. Little pots are just so, they've got a soul.
So what was the inspiration? Why did you start collecting them?
I just love them. I love pottery. You know, one of the things that when I first got to England, I realized that these flea markets were just full of amazing china. Because, you know, the British have a great tradition of kind of flowery china.
Yeah,
and
all the potteries.
That. You know, I mean, go to an Irish tea house and every place is different china, and I love all that, you know, the kind of kitsch of it.
Now my favourite one is the last one, vintage stars. I love vintage stars because it's quite tricky.
Yeah.
Because you've got lots of geometrics and stars, all amongst other things.
I'm trying to remember that one.
Well,
Describe
I'll tell
it.
you. So Liza used this double star block for the New Orleans star quilt.
Oh, that's why I don't remember.
And
it,
you
'cause it's
said,
hers.
here
Yeah.
I've gathered all the dusty, earthy coloured prints together.
That's right. And we put it on a wonderful old wall.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Isn't that a beautiful wall?
Yeah, I think that's probably
Yeah.
why it's my favourite.
Yeah,
It's quite a
old
complex
sort of
design.
peeling bricks and those dusty, earthy colours. And so that quilt was just perfect on that.
Well, there's a riot of colour and pattern in it, and you
Yeah.
chose those. So is that why did you choose the earthy coloured prints? Is it because
Well,
of
her original one was done in that sort of palette, and I liked it. And I don't use that palette a lot.
Okay.
You know, those kind of peat-like, earthy
Yes,
colors.
yeah.
So it was nice to get back into
It works
that.
so well. I think that's why it's my favourite, or maybe it's the photo
Well, I'm glad.
on the
I
wall.
mean, you can imagine that, say, in a log cabin
Oh,
or something
just
on a bed. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
absolutely
With
gorgeous.
Old wood interiors. Yeah.
And it's really stunning. And then for the border, which was interesting, you use a real circular pattern print for quite a wide border.
Yeah.
And did you choose that because it was so different to the geometric stars, or was it the colour?
I'm trying to remember what I did. Was it this pattern?
It's similar to that.
Yeah, discs. Well,
Yeah.
I love this pattern because it's so simple. You know, just big circles with little dots on them. And I've used that for a lot of borders.
I think a lot of people always want to know from you is how you choose, because you put geometrics
Yeah.
with florals, with circles.
It's more
and-
color.
Is it colour?
Sometimes it is pattern.
Right.
Sometimes I am working with, angles and circles, because we do a lot of that. But I'm usually looking at a palette,
Oh, okay.
what works color-wise and what doesn't.
Yeah, it just
Scare
sort of,
the
it's
horses.
quite a change, and it works really well.